very happy to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Obviously, we brought you to your weak spot.
Yes. Yeah.
Tell us about that.
I mean, it's a coffee house. It says organic juice bar, but if you look at top shelf, there's all chocolate cakes, cookies, bulle, a lot of muffins.
And you had some weight issues lately. What's that all about?
I mean, I enjoyed my off season. You know, came in a little overweight with the coach not happy with it. I mean, I'm not happy with it, but you know, I have a preseason, I have to work and just.
But you can fix that fast.
Oh yeah, that's
You're
not.
On your way.
Yeah, like I was saying, I have a good nutrition. Her name's Guyan, and she works at Ultimate Performance here in Uppsala, and she's got a good plan for me with food, with proper meals, not just proper meals, but the actual proper intake as well.
Yeah.
And it's going good so far. I mean, I feel a change. Coaches and stuff say they can see a change, so I feel a change across the board. So it's nice.
So, what's your goal with the Sirius for this season?
Personal goal?
Yeah.
Be the starting keeper and finish top half of the table. I mean, make a name for myself in the top league here in Sweden, and hopefully, like I said, our team finishes the top half of the table and lets everybody know that we can play football and that we're serious about our football. that's funny, huh? But no, that we play a good style and we're a hard-working team.
Yeah, it's time to get serious.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. When I first signed, my friends made fun of me. Are you serious? You're going to Sirius? No.
So, if you have a good season this year, do you think you have a fair chance to represent the US in the national team?
I mean, my personal feelings, yes. I mean, if I can do my best, and my best finishes that I'm among the top keepers in the country and in the league, as far as not just that, but my performances as well as my stats. I'm pretty confident that I hopefully should get a call up into the national team camp, and from there I think that I'll fight my position and show them that I can hold my own and do a good job in the squad.
What does the Swedish league? How is the reputation of the Swedish league in the US?
It's a good one. They have a good reputation. Ishizaki, who plays for Aiko now, he played with the Galaxy, my former club. Charlie Davis came here from America at a young age and did well for Bayern. And I think that, like I said, the people in the football world back home know that Damallsvenskan is a pretty quality league, and there's good football here. As well as some of the teams here in the top league usually go on training camp in the States and play against MLS teams, and they do pretty well. Yeah. Both teams are in preseason, they play against each other, and the results are pretty good and pretty fair matched. So I think there's a lot of respect for football in Europe, but especially for Sweden as well.
You've played for quite some years now. What's the weirdest place you've ever played a soccer match?
It'd be Iceland. I think it was. I'm gonna pronounce it wrong, I know it, but Oslavik. I think it's northeastern Iceland. But the city is a small, like, I want to say village town. I don't know if that's mean or not, but it's a very small town, and the field was set at the base of a cliff or a mountain, and probably maybe about 120 meters, 200 meters from the field was a cliff, maybe 100 meters high. And it had like three waterfalls that were trickling down off of it, which was pretty breathtaking. I mean, weird. I say weird because it looks like it's out of the Lord of the Rings or like a fairy tale movie, but also because I got caught daydreaming, looking at the backdrop and just. Oh yeah. Yeah, during the match, I lost in the beauty of the nature of it, but it wouldn't be somewhere where I'd pictured a football field at, and it was very breathtaking and very. Out there at the same time, like very kind of standoffish. That it's like we're playing here. We're not filming a movie. We're playing here. So it was pretty amazing at the same time. And like as far as football field itself, I would say there's a field in China that in Beijing that during preseason one year had square patches of grass that, like, as if they just redid the field, but instead of rolling out a whole football field, they like cut little 2 meters by 1 meter square patches and put it together like
grass.
yeah, a regular natural grass, not even turf. It was natural grass, and it looked like they put it together like a puzzle, and you can grab a piece of it and pull it up, and the whole square would come up. So that was pretty interesting. That was, as far as field playing on, that was pretty weird itself.
And if you stop too suddenly,
it would come right up. It would come right up like as if you're turning pages in a book.
Yeah.
If you stop too fast, it would come. You would just see it fold up.
Yeah.
And it's kind of dangerous at the same time because that could cause injuries. But I'm a goalie, so I just stayed in the box, but the field players were having ice skating out there when the grass moving. So it was pretty interesting itself.
And the most vicious player you've ever played with?
There's two. A big vicious player, like one is Abel Xavier, the Portuguese nightmare, blonde hair, gray eyes, and a sweetheart of a person. But on the field, he was definitely a defender that I would want on my team and not on the opposite team. Vicious in his tackles, strong, sturdy, solid player, knows how to read the game well, and he's no mercy on the field. If you're on the other team, no mercy. You're gonna be hitting the ground a few times, regardless of who you are.
How do you pronounce that guy's name? Xavier.
Xavier.
And he played some international.
Yeah, he played for the Portugal's national
blonde,
team.
Short hair.
Yep, blonde, short hair, and then his eyes were gray. Like, I thought they looked gray to me, whether they were very light blue, but they almost looked gray, which added to it. And then another guy would be Mark Watson from Canada, but he played in the EPL the BPL for a very long time. And my first year pro, I played with him, and he just looked like a straight Rottweiler, big head, nice strong body, but he wore this all black mouthpiece. And if you ever see a defender wearing a mouthpiece, and this isn't hockey or American football, you know you're in for some interesting tackles. And he actually, me and another rookie, Joey Jerkson, is a striker, and he's very quick and can turn players. And so a couple of times he got the ball in practice, and he turned Mark, and he turned him and made a fool of him and went in and scored. And I remember Mark telling him, "Don't do it again." And he's like laughing. He's like, "You're not gonna do that to me again." And next time he got the ball, he turned to go past him, and as he knocked the ball past him, Mark just took him clean out. If it had been a game, it'd have been a straight red 3-match ban easily. And he stood up. He said, "I told you." He said, "What do you think I am?" And I remember the coach saying, didn't even get mad at Mark. He straight told Joey, "Hey, that's what happens when you play against veteran players." And I was just like, I'm glad I'm in the goal. Because it would have made me want to fight him for sure.
Yeah. And it's a bit ironic. We're in here at this cafe in Uppsala, and you have a weakness for the top shelf there.
Yeah.
And actually, it was Sugar and Candy that brought you into the sport.
Exactly. That is actually ironic. And there was a guy that actually brought me, after I told this story my rookie year, a guy actually was bringing me Butterfinger candies to every home match. His name was Zach, and he's a very nice guy. He brought me a bag of Butterfingers. Hey, share with your teammates. But the story itself, you want to hear?
Yeah.
You want to hear? So basically, me and my brother.
Fighting.
Yeah, I was definitely a fighter. Either fighting kids in the neighborhood or on the school, or my brother. And like I said, our fights aren't typical. Our fights are pretty UFC. Like there's usually blood. Someone's usually crying or hurting, and there may or may not be a couple little small bones that get fractured or broken. I had a pretty bad temper when I was younger, and a lot of it my brother took. The brother was, "Sorry, Thomas, my bad." But one day it was a pretty big fight, and he got a lucky shot in, and he ran away. Hour later, he comes back, and I'm waiting to continue the fight, like as if it was just round one is over. Okay, round two is going to begin. And as soon as I see him pull up on his bicycle, I stand up, ready to go again. And he's like, "No, wait!" And he opens his hand. He's like, "Here, I have some candy for you." And I'm like, I know he didn't steal it. He wasn't the type of kid to steal it or anything. And I was like, "No." I was like, "Where did you get it from?" He's like, "Oh, there's a team over here or something." I said, "Okay, well, show me where you got it from because I want some too." And so we got on our bikes, rode about 1 or 2 kilometers to this little school. secondary school, like a middle school, and there was a team on the field. They were huddled up like as if the coach was talking to them, and so being me at that age, I was 10 years old. I come on my bicycle, I put my bike on the side of the field, and I'm walking straight into the huddle. You know, I'm wearing shorts, flip-flops, and a tank top because it's summer. And I walk straight into the huddle. And I mean, you gotta imagine there's a group of kids, 10, 11, 12 years old, huddled in, the coach is in the center. So I walk in, excuse me, push my way right to the center of the huddle.
Where's the cat?
Yeah, everybody's looking at me, and I look at the coach's like, can I help you? I said, yeah, you gave my brother some candy. Thomas, you know, come show him. I was like, my mom said that everything has to be even and equal. You gave him some candy. I want some candy. Like, I want my own. And they're like, all the kids are like looking at me like they want to fight. I mean, it was a rough area anyways. And I'm like, I want some candy. And the coach basically said, you know, how old are you? I said, I'm 10. Can you play soccer? I said, I mean, I don't really know what it is. I've seen, you know, the young kids in Sunday playing it in the Mexican leagues. So, but I don't know too much about it. They're like, well, can you catch? Can you catch a ball? I said, yeah, I can catch a ball, you know, but, you know, I want some candy, you know. And he's basically saying, okay, listen, if you go stand in goal, if the ball comes near you, try to catch it. But whatever you can, don't let it go in the goal. I said, okay. He's like, you can catch. I said, yeah. You know, I played basketball, American football, all that. And I was like, okay, but do I get some candy? He's like, yes, you're gonna get some candy. You know, let's finish training, and then afterwards we'll give you some candy. And so I didn't have any shoes on, and the owner told his wife to take off her shoes. And so I'm wearing size 5, either size 5 or 5.5 women's sneakers. And the only gloves he had was gardening gloves to do the yard. And so my first day ever on a football field playing soccer, practicing, was blue little shorts, a tank top, gardening gloves, and women's shoes. And I played in goal, and I guess the guy liked what he saw, because he took me home. And my brother took me and my brother home to our apartment where my mom was. And my mom, like I said, my mom almost she lost her mind, because an old white man bringing home her 2 sons that are 9 and 10 years old in the van at like 7, 8 at night when it's already almost dark. So they talked for a couple hours, and the guy explained to her that it was his team. And she basically told him, you know, I can't afford him to play for anything, you know. And the guy's like, no, it's my team, you know, he'll have a scholarship, we'll pay for everything, but I see a natural talent in him, and I would like him to play for my team. And so that's basically how I ended up on the team. And I did get the candy afterwards, after they had their meeting, and my mom said if I wanted to play. I said yeah. You know, he gave me a couple Butterfinger candy bars, and those were actually my favorite at the time as well. And yeah, I definitely got candy. So the start of my soccer life was with candy, and now I'm getting in trouble for eating it still. But I don't eat it still, but it's still my biggest weakness.
And how did you end up in LA Galaxy from there?
I played in university. I did 4 years of university, and I played on one semi-professional team my second year.
In Berkeley? Or?
No, Cal State Bakersfield.
Okay.
It was D2 at the time, but now it's Division I. And so I went to a semi-pro team one of those years and played for a summer. And my assistant coach at my college knew the head coach of the Vancouver Whitecaps, which were now in MLS. And so at the end of my football season in college for my last year, the coach asked me if I wanted to go on trial in Vancouver to play, and I said, yeah, of course. So I went to Vancouver. I ended up making the team there, played 2 years there. The first year I was on the bench the first half, and then ended up winning the starting position on the second half and did well. The second year, they brought in Tony Kegg from England, who was the starter, and I was the backup. And I played a few matches that year, and we ended up winning the USL division that year. And then the very next year, they released me. I went to Portland Timbers, who are also now in the MLS. And I had an amazing year there. You know, I had a great team, and I had a great defense in front of me. And I think we gave up, 14 goals in 28 games. I won goalkeeper of the year. I had the goals against average, one of the best in the year. Set a club record of a shutout streak, which I think they almost beat it 2 years ago, but I think I still have it by 20 minutes or so. Yeah. And then at the end, in that off season of that year, I was back in Vancouver with some friends hanging out, and I got a phone call from my coach saying, hey, you want to come back to training early? I said, no, I'm on vacation. He's like, well, you want to go home? And so I got scared, like if he's going to cancel my contract. I said, no. He said, oh, no, but the LA Galaxy wants you to come in on trial. And I said, okay, when do I have to be there? He said, you got to be there Saturday. And this was on a Wednesday. I was like, okay, so who's buying my ticket? He said, that's the thing, you have to buy your own ticket. But if you make the team, they'll reimburse you. And so I said, yeah, let me make some phone calls. So I got off the phone, called my mom, called my dad, who was living in Germany at the time, and my dad ended up buying my ticket down to LA, and went down to LA, and I think I was on trial for almost a month or so. And then when I was in the airport in Tokyo, Japan, is when I signed my contract for the Galaxy and made that team. And that made me feel good to move up to the next level, and to was happy with that people noticed my ability. So that's how I ended up playing with the Galaxy. But that was a pretty interesting time in itself.
What team have you been most happy in?
As far as the football, as far as personally?
Yeah.
Like just in general?
Well, speaking of your soccer career, what team has made you most satisfied? When was life at the top, or is it now?
In DC, when I played for DC United, personally, I was having a great year. Was having a pretty good start to a good career, and everything was going great. Then I made a few dumb mistakes, really stupid mistakes that could have cost me my career. And then I got injured on top of that, which reset me back at the bottom. And then that's when I came to Europe. You can almost say I've had two separate careers, one in the States and now one in Europe. I'm about 6 years at both now. But I would say that back then I was at the height. I think I was probably a shoe-in to go to the national camp. But then, like I said, I made huge mistakes and stupid errors, stupid mental mistakes and emotion. I let my emotions and my temper get the best of me.
Can you tell us about that? Or
yeah, that's not a problem. I remember I was having a pretty good season, and then we made it to the U.S. Open Cup finals against Seattle Sounders. And at 0-0, I think I made probably like 5 or 6 brilliant saves in the first half alone, and doing great, riding high, making great saves. And then second half, I think I made like 2 or 3 more saves. And then there was Freddie Lundberg had a breakaway. He's actually Swedish, played with the national team and stuff. He kind of had a breakaway, it's like a half chance breakaway, but he had a good shot, and I got down low and made a great save, and I gave a rebound. And then the other striker, Freddie Montero, finished it. And he finished it, and at the same time he went over me, was on the floor behind me. And in typical young kid Wicks fashion, I let my emotions get the best of me, and I lost it. And I turned around and I was angry at myself that I got scored on, and I was doing so well. Angry at the fact now that we're losing 1-0 in the championship match. And like I said, just didn't control, just wasn't professional about getting scored on. So as I'm turning around, as I go back to retrieve the ball from the net, which is that's my thing. If the ball's in the net, I want to get it out. I gave up a goal, I need to get it out. So you see a lot of times that I argue with other teams to fight over the ball. But anyways, so as I'm walking back, I could have easily walked around him, I could have stepped over him, I could have done so many other things that I always think about on a daily basis. But instead I decided to stomp on him, to jump up and stomp down on him. And I got him pretty good, and I got the ball out. The referee and the sidelines didn't see it, no one saw it, which in my head I was like, oh my God, you're so stupid, but you got away with it. Yeah. But the fourth official, the replay was kept being shown on the Jumbotron in the stadium like 3 or 4 times, and the fourth official saw it and called the ref over and basically told him, hey, this is what happens, he needs a red card. So he got sent off. I got into it with the referee, cussing and screaming at the referee like, the rules are, you're not supposed to make a call off the replays. That's the general rule. Yeah. That's, if you didn't see it, no one saw it. He's like, oh, the fourth official saw it. I said, no, he saw a replay. We're not making decisions on replay. Like, just basically trying to make excuses. Like, in my head, I knew I deserved to be sent off, and I should just shut up and gone off the field. So I ended up going off the field and got suspended from the cup games. Like the next 7, it's either 1 year or 7 games total, which it takes 7 games to get to the final anyway. So it's a total of 1 year. But then I wasn't, the league itself couldn't suspend me or fine me because the MLS governs itself, and the US Open Cup was run by US Soccer. Yeah. So I think that kind of held a bad taste in the league's mouth, because the player that I did it to was that year's, like he was the poster child for the league that year, kind of like he was the new player and up and coming and all this. And so that was like strike like 2 already. And then a couple games later, I got into a confrontation with one of my teammates on the field, and during a corner kick, a defensive corner kick, I grabbed him by his collar and by his throat and kind of, you know, manhandled him a little bit. So that was like another strike. And then I think it was, what, 2 months, about a month later, maybe like 3 or 4 games later, I dislocated my shoulder and tore my joint capsule almost 360 degrees around. And I had to have 8 surgical tacks put into it. And all the rehab itself, and I tore my LCL at the same time in my knee. So I mean, my total rehab from the date of injury to my first match after was 14 or 15 months. But after surgery, I think the doctors told like the team that he's never going to be the same goalkeeper again. Like he won't be a good goalkeeper again. Yeah. You know, he'll never be able to be that keeper again. Like it's kind of almost like he's done already. And so I think after about 6, when I was cleared to play again, which was like 7 or 8 months, I was actually cleared by the doctors to play again, is when my contract was terminated from the league and from my club. Yeah. And so I didn't have a club at all. I didn't have a team. And my agent, I was back in DC living with my girlfriend at the time and training on a team, waking up at 4 in the morning to catch a train, 2 hours away training. And then my agent finally found me a team in Finland, Mariehamn, IFK Mariehamn, who would sign me without even a trial. They just signed me outright. And so that's how I was able to basically went from, I think I hit bottom after that injury. You know, I was in a bad spot, you know, drinking a lot, doing a lot of stupid stuff that I probably shouldn't have been doing, not really taking care of myself. And then when I got training again, you know, it took me a little while, and I was with like some third league, third and fourth league teams training in the States. And what I kept getting from them was, because their season already started, but they could still, what the rules are, they could still sign players. And it wasn't that oh, you know, you're not good enough, you can't make the team. The answer I was getting was, you know, you're too good for the team. Like, you're too good for us to sign you. And I think that was just their way of being politically correct, because they already had an established team and they already had 2 keepers. And I don't think they wanted, since it was a lower league team and guys had jobs and stuff, I don't think they wanted to upset the morale of the team by bringing in a keeper. And obviously if you bring me in with the guys that they had, you know, I'm pretty sure that I would have been starting. So someone would have lost their job, and you know, they all have friends and stuff. So, you know, it felt good, but it hurt more to hear that you're too good to play for us. Like, if I'm too good, then why don't you just sign me? Yeah. Like, I'm not asking for money, I'm just asking to play. Yeah. Because if I play, then everybody else sees that I still have the ability and I can I'll work my way back up the ladder. Like, I have no problem being at the bottom. Yeah. Like, I'll fight, like, claw, scratch my way to the top again. And so that's what I kept hearing in the States. And I think a lot of it had to do with my reputation from the previous years of, you know, always wanting to fight, getting in confrontations, you know, arguing with people. So I think a lot of that had a lot to do with it as well. But then...
So maybe now, Xavier is doing an interview. Who's the freakiest goalkeeper you ever played with? And he's like telling... Yeah.
Probably. I mean, I was a bit of, I mean, I'm sure he's had his own little things, but I could be a pretty, I mean, on the field I could be my own. I just want to win and I'm fighting, but behind closed doors I'm definitely, I'm sure my teammates can attest, I'm a character, definitely a character. So I mean, when that all ended, that was like my low point of my career. I had a good woman by my side who's my missus now, and
so what did you learn from it?
Keep my mouth shut. To keep my mouth shut, and I learned a lot of. I learned a lot of tools through meditation and just yeah, it's a game. Yeah, I'm passionate about it, but it doesn't have to be, you know, life or death. Like. Just because I get scored on, just because I get in an argument with a teammate on the field, doesn't mean I have to wait from the locker room two days later trying to fight him still. Yeah. You know, we're all going to have disagreements on the field. We're all going to get in arguments on the field. And I've learned to leave it at the field. If there's something that needs to be corrected, I'll go back and watch the film, and I'll correct what I need to correct and improve what I need to improve, or if I need to like take a step back and calm down, I'll do that as well. But I think the most important thing I learned was to keep my mouth shut in the areas that I need to. I don't always have to disagree with somebody, and even if I disagree, I don't always have to state it. I don't always have to be confrontational.
Yeah.
You know, I think if you talk to some of my teammates that I played with in LA and DC and in Portland, and compared them to that, for me from then till now, I would say I'm a completely night and day player as far as my mental state. I have a lot more control of my emotions, a lot more control of my mouth and of my behavior itself. I'm not always looking to fight somebody. I'm not always trying to be a bully on the field. I'm definitely aggressive and a strong, loudmouth keeper, and that's part of my job. But as far as trying to be a dirty player, I'm not a dirty player. I wouldn't say I'm a dirty player anymore, or I wouldn't call myself an asshole anymore. Before, I would definitely label myself as a straight asshole, but not anymore. And that's what I've learned, I think, is just to keep my emotions in check and learn when to shut my mouth. I mean, sometimes, like my last coach, Oskin, there's a few times he had to tell me, hey, that's enough, calm down. And whereas now I'm like, okay, coach, I got it, I'll calm down. And 4 or 5 years ago, I'd be like, man, like, don't talk to me, like, shut up, like, and I would tell it to the coach. Yeah. And that's not, that's completely unacceptable. So I've definitely grown a lot as a professional.